on notice. The liberals' elitism and monopoly is gangsterism. The cannabis community was given mixed messages to lure us to vote liberal. A smooth move. We long to be legitimate. We long to stop looking over our shoulders, dealing with the stigma, being cuffed and caged for choosing a plant over their pill mill. The cannabis community in Canada makes the most incredible craft products that are life-saving. In fact, thousands have been helped to save their own lives, to grow and make their own products. Illegal growers, patients, and dealers fighting for legalization, building an industry the government now insists on taking, they say, for safety. This is so gangster. And I say this because, and I don't say this lightly, because there's a spectrum of gangster, but gangster is because one of their licensed producers who grew and sold cannabis to sick people with pesticides unfit for human consumption, this is unconscionable. And it's immoral and disgusting. Health Canada is supposed to protect people, but the way they have sabotaged sick people and cannabis and the cannabis community for 2 decades is reprehensible. But then, of course, only a government that is immoral, in my view, could actually say it's a crime to use a plant to make yourself feel better. That's the world we're living in. Youth, know the truth. You know, they avoid the L word, and by L word, I'm not talking about lesbian, as used to be when I was younger. I'm talking about lower income. But the L word for lesbian, like the Premier of Ontario, I knew the cannabis community was in trouble when she would never talk about the harm done to us. Never. And the first thing we learn as feminists is how silence equals consent to continue harm done. And this is what they've done with their new cannabis plan. So shame on you, Premier Kathleen Wynne, shame on you. And then there is the former Ontario Health Minister, George Smithermannow, who is now an LP, and who a long time ago did buy cannabis cookies for me. Usually I'm not one to toke and tell, but when you say as an LP that home grows are not safe because you want a monopoly, no, that's not going to sit with me. So yes, when the PM held a town hall and he said maybe across from his, police chief, former police chief, he said maybe one day there will be pardons. This is after he talked about how his white privilege made things all go away for his brother. That's when I realized that elitism is in fact a form of gangsterism. It's not acceptable. I'm Loretta Clark. I'm a born activist, and for most of my life, since age 12, I've been using cannabis. For me, always it was helpful, unless it was full of pesticide brought to me by the big pharma pot to fill it with pesticide. I mean, that was always their plan. And this is why it's important for you to know the truth. And this is why it's important to talk about the many forms of gangsterism, which I would say does include elitism. I'm 58. I use huge amounts of cannabis every day, and I have for decades, obviously. So I challenge anyone in Canada right now, any day, coming up, alcoholic, pillhead, coffee drinker, because they're all drugs. I challenge anyone to a race on land or in water, an IQ test, a creativity test, and we'll see, because I'm pretty sure my cannabis brain and body is at the top for my age. Incredible, since I've had to put up with 40 years of pesticide lies. We deserve our community-based industries. We deserve our craft products to be regulated and accepted in a free market space. And we must say that all Canadians deserve to no longer get pesticide pot from Health Canada. All families deserve access to cannabis medicine and the truth. Community-based lounges and dispensaries where we have saved already many lives. And youth, learn the truth. When you are surrounded by gangsters, remember the original virtue for evolving humanity is disobedience.